Thank you.
All right, okay. Let me open Adit also into this conversation. Adit, there's obviously a multitude of complex overlays when it comes to the topic of Kashmir. You know, even when we in India talk about the sensitivities attached to Kashmir, there is a very nuanced approach, by journalists as well as the people who understand the problem. Do you think it's immature, foolhardy, as well as irresponsible to talk about a concept, to talk about a problem that you don't fully comprehend, you don't understand, the semantics associated with it, you don't understand the people who are affected by it, you may not even know what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits in the early 90s and the late 80s, and yet you want to talk about Kashmir and look at India as some oppressor, that is doing what perhaps UK has done to almost the entire world for the better half of the last 3 centuries.
So Vineet, here is where I would like us to de-hyphenate, British polity, the British colonialism with the Oxford Union. The Oxford Union is it was set up in 1823 by the students who couldn't discuss contentious issues in the university. So it's basically a breakaway from the Oxford University in its entirety. So that is where I would like to de-hyphenate that particular perspective. The problem that we have at hand, like I said, is the social sciences divisions and the departments within universities and schools at large, which cultivate and condition young minds to think in a certain way. I myself, I'm a byproduct of such a schooling system which made us believe they conquered, but they became us. That wasn't the case. If we look at it in entirety, we know the kind of Islamic history that we've had to endure as a civilization has been anything but peaceful. It has been extremely violent, where they've desecrated our worship places. They have looted and plundered our worship places, and they've completely dislodged our civilizational value system at the whole. But that is not what our education system basically teaches us. It conditions us to believe that we exist together and we've always existed together, which is a complete farce. It's a complete lie. So we need to kick that political correctness into the bin, and we need to understand that this is a problem stemming from academia. The problem is that the current government which is in place today also doesn't understand this from an academic lens, which is why we are not bringing any sort of a financial consequence to universities which harbor anti-India narratives, which platform anti-India research and anti-Hindu research. I mean, all the big universities across the Western Hemisphere are indulging and platforming anti-India narratives, and they're giving platforms to very feral activists who are basically, like the snakes in the United Kingdom, name the Khalistanis, name the Islamists. They're all being provided platform by the King's University, the King's College, by the Cambridge, by the Oxfords, the Harvards, etc., etc. So unless we understand this and we put financial implications as a government on these universities, we delegitimize them. We understand that we make it a point that any degrees coming from there on Indian students will not be recognized in India. I don't think we are nipping this on the bud.
Quickly, Sumit.
Vineet, I got once, I'm a corner